can change in an instant. And it did for Andrew Nugent Duggar, one of the world's greatest advocates and teachers of the most coherent body of Bible-based beliefs and practices. His faith was tested when his wife, Effie Carpenter, fell critically ill in 1952. The couple, then living in the United States, had been married for only 27 years. As he prayed to God for her survival, Duggar faced a decision he had long avoided: moving to Jerusalem in Israel to fulfill a divine calling. In this video, you will learn how faith in God and a pledge to keep his promise reshaped Duggar's life and ministry. But before we proceed, please hit the notification bell and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Now, let me first introduce you to this wonderful Sabbath-keeping church minister and theologian of the 20th century whose religious teachings and guidance continue to be embraced by thousands of people across the world. Duggar was, for many years, the president of the General Conference of the Church of God, Seventh-day, in America and editor of the group's official magazine called The Bible Advocate. He spent some of his time at the main office of the church in Stanbury, Missouri. He also pastored his congregation in Marion, Oregon. Much of his time was spent traveling and preaching in various parts of America and occasionally touring other countries. He and other leaders eventually left that movement in 1932 and moved on to establish Church of God, Seventh-day, in Salem, West Virginia. To them, this was not a newer version of the Stanbury-led religious outfit, but a reorganization of the church founded by the Messiah in 33 AD. Duggar was eventually plucked out of that Salem movement by God in 1952 to start a new evangelical mission and pastoral ministry in the Middle East. Here are 10 extraordinary things that forced him and Effie to eventually move to Israel. Number 1. Effie's sudden illness. Effie became severely ill with what Duggar suspected was typhoid fever. Their children had previously recovered from it, but Effie's case was critical. Number 2. Racing against time. Doctors admitted Effie to a contagious disease hospital in Portland. The medics there did their best to treat her, but her condition continued to worsen. Number 3. A family's breaking point. Duggar and his daughters, Naomi and Mary, prayed and fasted, but with no positive results on her condition. The doctor finally delivered the grim news that Effie wouldn't make it through the night. Number 4. Prayers in the rain. Desperate. Duggar and his daughters climbed a hill behind the hospital. In the cold rain, they prayed with a flashlight for guidance. At some point, Naomi declared, "Mama is going to get well." Duggar felt the same hope. Number 5. A promise to follow. Duggar made a vow that if Effie lived, he would sell everything and move to Jerusalem and start preaching to the world from there. Although he had resisted this calling for years, he could no longer ignore it. Number 6. A beacon of hope. As they left the hill, they spotted a glowing light above the hospital. Duggar interpreted this as a positive sign from heaven and told the nurses, "There will be a change tonight." Number 7. A miraculous turn. By morning, Effie's bleeding had stopped, and she was on the road to recovery. When Duggar and his daughters saw her, she appeared healthier than she had in weeks. Number 8. A message from above. As she continued to recover, Effie asked, "Did you hear that voice?" No one else had heard any voice. She said the voice had told her to remind Duggar to keep his promise. Up to that point, Effie was unaware that her husband had made a vow to move to the Promised Land in the Middle East to start preaching from there. Number 9. Sacrificing for a calling. Duggar kept his word. The family sold their home, paid off their debts, and left everything behind to begin their journey to Jerusalem, a city he had visited only once in 1931. Number 10. A new chapter in Jerusalem. Less than a year later, Duggar and Effie arrived in the Holy City, well prepared to fulfill his calling. He quickly started a new ministry which, among other things, published a paper, books, and tracts for friendly Jewish and Arab residents of that land and for the international community. Conclusion. Effie's illness was a wake-up call for A.N. Duggar. It led him to fulfill his promise to God. The illness transformed his despair into the purposeful action of moving to Jerusalem, where God wanted him to be. His move to that Middle Eastern country facilitated the dissemination of the unique, Bible-based teachings of the Church of God's Seventh Day across the Caribbean, Africa, Europe, India, the Philippines, and North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world, more so through his printing press. Their Sabbath-keeping congregation in Jerusalem became the headquarters of the true Church of God's Seventh Day, and served as a hub for sending both Jewish and non-Jewish ministers, preachers, and evangelists to many countries, resulting in the establishment of new congregations whose members kept the commandments of God and the teachings of Yeshua Messiah as taught in Revelation chapter 14:12. The couple lived and preached from Jerusalem until their passing on, 1975 for Duggar and 1980 for Effie. Elohim added 28 more years to Effie since her life-threatening 1952 illness. Duggar was 89 years old when he died while Effie was 85. The couple had 5 children: John Paul, Charles Andrew, Orabel, Naomi, and Mary. The information in this video has been adapted from the original tract, What Started Us to Israel, by A.N. Duggar. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like it and put your opinion in the comments section below. Thank you and God bless you.